And hello, people of WyoNation. It is your first live WyoNation post-game show. I am your host, Chad Smith, running solo tonight. Great to see everybody in the chat. The chat is working. It did not work in our test earlier in the week, so I'll be happy to see what you people have to say at this late night. It's after 11 p.m. Mountain Time. 1 o'clock on the East Coast for all of you. And I see we've got Sean, we got Brian, we got David in the YouTube chat. And we'll see what's going on in the Twitter sphere as well, or X, however you want to call it. But the big news is in a thrilling college football game, your Wyoming Cowboys have defeated Texas Tech 35-33 in an overtime thriller, in which was not only a very entertaining game, but a very, very good college football game that I think a lot of you enjoyed. A roller coaster for sure. Joel's in. Let's go. Let's see here. We got some comments. So let's do this here. Yes, take him to the deep end of the pool. Now, I saw Peasley's interview, but I wasn't paying attention. I didn't hear that. So I don't know the context of that. But I guess, playing Wyoming in football in Laramie is like going to the deep end of the pool. What else we got here? We got David. David here, you're in Tennessee. Way to kick off the season. That's right. It would have been really bad to lose that game for sure. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got Joel. Welcome, Joel. Greetings from South Central Texas. Go Pokes. All right, we got a Texan cheering on the Pokes as they beat Texas Tech 35-33 again, in which was a very entertaining and a great college football game, as I did say. Let's see here. We have another one. Getting a win like this in front of the nation on CBS is also big for the program. That's right. And that's Dave again. So, yeah, keep your comments going. We'll put some stuff on the screen. But, hey, let's start with the stats. I haven't really had time to break this down. I have a ton of notes for y'all. But, again, this was a roller coaster. I'll just say this, that game was Wyoming football, the good, the bad, the ugly, in the 60 minutes plus overtime, right? Everything good about Wyoming football was there. Everything bad about Wyoming football is there. But there's a lot to be happy about, I think. Here we go. Go Pokes from Casper. Thank you, Joey Dub. Oh, here we go. 09 grad, former Pistol Pino. How? I'm able and won't be able to go anytime soon. Well, stay up, Raider Dave. Okay. I thought maybe since your name was Raider Dave, that maybe you're a Red Raider. And you're coming in to say congrats or something. But that is not the case. Hey, Sean says the tight ends balled out. They did. So let's start there. Now, I did mention on Twitter that at one point, Wyoming was very balanced, and I thought they were in the game as a whole. The passing efficiency wasn't there, as you would like to see, but they were balanced in terms of yards. Let's look at the final numbers. 149 passing to 171 rushing. Now, again, not doing too great in the rushing department for Wyoming football. And as Brian says here, hey, double rotating running backs every play was detrimental. Yeah, they were behind the sticks there in terms of the running back rotation. But let's look at it. Peasley ran the ball 15 times, 68 yards, 1 touchdown, Alana 17. Then you got Sam Scott, the hero, with the 2-point conversion there. 7 carries, 44 yards, 6.3 yards a carry. And may I remind you that Scott was a two-way player in high school, played linebacker, and I do believe he was a linebacker most of last season. I think he only moved the running back at the end of last season at the bowl game. So Sam Scott did great, got the score there at the end. Absolutely great to see. DQ James had a really good first half, 9 carries, 35 yards, but we didn't have that production that you would normally see there from the running back position because of the injuries, and it was all hands on deck running back wise, and they were just trying to figure out who could make the type of runs behind that O-line, and it was just enough. 3.9 yards a carry, 44 carries, 171. There we go. Dave says the speed of the team overall seems much improved. True. I would say right at the beginning of the game, especially when Texas Tech jumped out to that 17-0 lead, you saw that maybe they were struggling a little bit with the speed of Texas Tech, but then they adjusted. So I don't know if it was just hey, it's a first game type of thing, and they're not really used to seeing that type of speed in practice, and it just took them a couple drives to get going. But they adjusted, and the defense played really well, right? So, I mean, they only gave up 16 points the rest of the game after giving up 17 to start the game. And those are on turnovers, right? You had the 2 fumbles to start the game, and I do believe of the 17 points and their 17-0 lead, 10 points came off of turnovers. Yeah, Sean says the fumbles early really hurt running back rotation confidence. Probably, right? They're just looking for guys who can keep a hold of the ball. So, great. I am so pleased here that you guys have joined us here on YouTube and that the chat is working as expected. Let's head on over to Twitter here, or X. I'm just going to call it Twitter. See if we have any questions, any comments. Keep your stuff going in. We'll talk more. I got notes here. My little trusty notebook that I had keeping notes. But it's just an exciting time. So want to know, right? The big thing here is Wyoming came into this game as 14-point dogs at home, which does not happen very often. And they win outright. So if you are the gambling variety, you made some cleaning up. If you took Wyoming in 14, you won at the end of the game. All right. Twitter is just bumping here. Let me look at my second screen here to see what's going on. Doesn't look like we have too many questions. Going to fix that typo in the score. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Somebody posted a score typo, and I had me double-checking my scroller down here to make sure that I got it right. Raider Dave says, I feel like we were more balanced than in years past with our run-pass splits. Feels like maybe 70-30 run-pass, feels like 90-10 in years past. Yeah, and that's what I just talked about. So I would say that even though the passing game was not efficient as it could be or should be, because as I said here, we'll look at the numbers again. If I can get them up here. Peasley was 18 and 34 for 149 yards. So that's 53%. But Raider Dave, I noticed too that just focusing on more of the short passing game, which they were doing, especially in the second half there, where they were just trying to throw 7 and 8 yard passes. That's all you really need to do when you can run the ball well. In the past, we've gotten stuck into this vertical passing game where it's all or nothing. And we really don't need a pass that way. We just need to be efficient. And so 53%, not as efficient as I would like, but it got the job done. So, and just think, if we can work with Peasley, get him to complete some of these shorter passes that he missed a ton of passes. His footwork was poor at times. Now, granted, poor guy was getting rushed. The poor guy's playing hurt, not injured, he said, right? There's a difference between hurt and injured. He was playing hurt, and he's getting banged around, and it's a concern after what he went through last year with the concussions. I'm concerned about the guy. I don't know. We need to be running him 15 times. So, and that will get better once we get our running backs back. You can pick your spots with him, but he picked up a lot of key first downs. Let's look at the numbers for our receiving core, which includes the tight ends, of course. Gillenborg led the team with 5 catches, 37 yards, followed by Welch, 3 for 31. So there's your 2 tight ends. Scott, 3 for 7. Weiland, 2 for 33. DQ James, 2 for 14. The transfer from Hofstra, Asante, 1 for 18. Marquez, 1 for 5. And Driscoll, 1 for 4. So, again, you need to find a way to get those wide receivers in there. But they will. I think they will. I think they showed at least the ability to change things up. It wasn't a drastic change, but it was enough to do it. All right, Ian. Ian says, bro, Wyoming absolutely stunned me with that TD while getting blitzed. Yeah. That is a very good point there. Blitz, free blitz up the middle on Texas Tech. A clean call. I do believe it was a DB. Looked smaller. It could have been a safety, but it looked like a corner maybe, who was able to come right up the middle, and then Peasley just sat in there. I mean, boys and girls, Peasley has, some brass cojones. And that has a lot to do with Craig Bohl, right? This team is resilient. I give them a lot of things I say where I'm critical, but hey, in the end, Craig Bohl teams are going to play tough and physical, and they're going to be resilient. They're not going to give up. And that's what you saw tonight. I don't know. A lot of teams down 17-0 at home could have gone a different way, but not a Craig Bowl team. And they kept, hammering away, and they got the job done. But Peasley, yeah. Tough kid for sure. Nobody can question that. Just a matter of working with him a little, getting that footwork improved. I got my notes here from the week, and then you were hearing these being echoed. You heard these echoed from the TV crew, which obviously gets the same talking points. They sit in meetings, they talk to the coaches. But they said Peasley's decision-making was improved, that his arm strength was improved. He got a little bigger. They said he was trying to add some weight to take some of that pounding. And we're seeing game one that it's going to be an uphill battle to keep him healthy. Cowboy tough. That's right, Brian. That is right. Craig Bowl teams are Cowboy tough. So, yeah, physically, you must say that after Wyoming adjusted to, I guess, the speed of Texas Tech, just as physical. Wyoming came in there and was just as physical as a Power 5 team, even though the Power 5 is falling apart as we speak day by day. That's maybe another pod we'll have to do as we see the future of the remnants of the Pac-12 and being linked to the Mountain West. But Texas Tech is in the Big 12 with that strong recruiting base, obviously. And Wyoming went toe to toe with them at home, which was good to see. Let's see. What else here? When Texas just came in, I was like, yeah, Wyoming's done. But then they somehow scored the TD. I was like, wait, what? Yes. Plot twist. Exactly. All right, let's see here. Anybody on Twitter? Any type of comments here? Just looking, yeah. Just everybody's really happy, obviously. Everybody's really happy. I'm curious about your guys' thoughts on the defense and how they rebounded after the offense been in some tough positions. For Wyoming, it's always going to be about the lines, right? Offensive and defensive line both played pretty well. The defensive line, I think, played better tonight. The offensive line had some new guys in there. We had some false starts. They're younger players, and they'll get in there. And the Wyoming secondary, I think, did pretty well against Texas Tech. We'd have to look at the numbers to see what Texas Tech averaged last year in terms of passing. But today, 31 of 47 for 338 yards. I mean, against Texas Tech, that's not too terrible. Let's see. Joey says, I was really impressed with the defense. I knew they were going to be good. To keep the team to 20 in regulation was impressive. Yeah. Exactly. I had here, right? Because the game was on a knife's edge. And I was kind of thinking about where would a key drive show up for whoever won or lost the game, right? And I came up with this one. And late in the third quarter, you may remember this. It's when they missed the field goal. Texas Tech had a 14-play drive for 53 yards. And they were really starting to do the short passes to get their receivers in space laterally. And I thought that was going to cause us a lot of problems. And I thought, well, this could be the backbreaker for us. But they missed the field goal, and then Wyoming was able to adjust to that strategy from there. So, again, you can't just say enough about how well prepared Wyoming was defensively. And like all of you said, I think they did enough offensively to really change things up a bit to make us a lot less predictable than we have in past seasons. And I think that's going to be huge going forward, especially when we're able to run the ball, when we get back our horses at running back here, including the transfer from Northern Illinois. I think he's really going to be a game changer for the offense. Let's look at some defensive numbers. I haven't even looked at them yet. Kind of see who led the team here. In fact, we could even, I forgot, we have the capabilities to share this. So let's share it here. Our screen. And here we go. Here are our statarones. So pretty balanced there. We got 12 total tackles. Davis, the corner, was 7. Eckler, 7. Gibbs, a 6. Bergatoni was 6. Wyoming had 2 sacks. Siders and Harris. I thought Siders really brought it on at the end of the game there. Batting passes, getting pressures. Overall, good, solid efforts. Obviously, the interception by Rook Brown, first of his career right there. Absolutely good game for him. I'm glad that he stuck it out with the team because there was a lot of talk that he is going to enter the portal. And he did. And so now he's back, playing a big role for the defense and getting that a big interception on a nice play in that first half. In total here, what we got? We got tackles for loss. Just 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and then a whole lot of pass breakups. 9 pass breakups, which seems pretty good to me. So there's your numbers defensively. But right in any type of game, here we go. Jared's got some numbers for us. Thank you, Jared. Texas Tech last year passing 302 yards. Points per game, rushing 34. Okay. So it looks like they were about at their average for passing, but looks like we must have held them below what they usually rush for. Let's look here. Yeah, 93 rushing yards, and they had 158 last year. So I think that was key. Yes, thank you for looking those up. So we held them to about what they do passing, but rushing-wise, we held them to way below, and then 34 points per game in regulation. They got 33 in overtime, but held them to 20 in regulation. So thank you, Jared, for looking those up for us. What else we got here? Oh, before I saw that, yes. Obviously, special teams played a huge role tonight. And right here, it's not showing it. Where is he? Well, here's your field goals, right? He made a 54-yarder, did Garcia. Missed a 49-yarder. Got the 40-yarder block to where our guy up the middle just bull rushed. I don't know if it was the snapper, but just bull rushed him up the middle, causing a low kick, and he missed it. Missing a 50-yard kick off the upright, and then made that 27-yarder. But obviously, this game does not go into overtime if they just make one of those kicks. So Garcia for Texas Tech, tough game. But thankfully, he had it, or things would have been a lot different. Yeah, Sean says 20 in regulation wins a lot of games. Yeah, I agree. The question is, can we consistently get over that mark? And I'd have to say that, again, tonight was very positive. It could have gone either way. So let's be happy that Wyoming got the job done, because that game was on a knife's edge throughout the fourth quarter, throughout the overtimes. But starting off 1-0 is really key here, especially with this non-conference schedule being really tough. If you caught Brad and I in our preview earlier last week, you'll have seen that we were really kind of looking to go 2-2. Was kind of the goal for this football team in non-conference play. And now you have a chance to better that, right? I think next week you've got a Big Sky team coming into town in Portland State. And then you play, I forget the order, but then you play Texas and then App State at home. So you take care of your business at home. You go 3-1 in the conference season, assuming a loss to Texas, which it's college football, right? We've seen all kinds of crazy stuff. You never know. So, but a 1-0 start really just adds to those possibilities for sure. Okay. Let's see what else is going on here in the Twitterverse. If it will refresh here. So, okay, I'll be interested on who is your player of the game tonight. Drop it in the chat box. A lot of different people it could be, right? It could be Peasley for just being an Iron Man, just sitting back there, just getting absolutely hammered. Could be Sam Scott with the big runs he had. Might give the game ball to the defense for stepping up when they had to. So think about that. While you're doing that, let's take a look at some of the other scores in the Mountain West on this first day. Okay, Joey's got a question. With this win, I'm looking at the schedule. What is your opinion on how many games we could win? I think we have a chance to win 10. Okay, so we did this exercise like a worst case, like a best case scenario and a worst case scenario, kind of, but realistically. And I think the highest number we came up to was 8. But that didn't include a win tonight. So maybe 9. I think 10 would be hard. So let's not run before we walk on this season. But again, it's a great advantage. You have a chance to go a realistic shot at going 3-1 in non-conference play, which really sets you up for conference play. Really sets you up for conference play, where there could be 5 like really winnable games, and then some toss-ups, right? Air Force, even some CSU maybe, right? You got rivalry games. But the big ones are, right, Boise, Air Force, and Fresno State. So, and speaking of which, so let's get to that. Let's share this screen again. If it will work. And let's take a look at the scoreboard today in week 1 of the college football. And we'll just talk about some of these here. So we'll just look at the scores. Washington State of the Pac-12 came into Fort Collins and beat the Sheep 50-24. So that's always good. We had some nice talk about that on Twitter. UNLV opened the home against Bryant, which I've never heard of. Have any of you heard of Bryant? I mean, hello, crickets, I'm sure, right? UNLV beats Bryant to start their season 1-0. Air Force beats Robert Morris 42-7. And then I guess the big game of the day in the Mountain West is Fresno State, your defending conference champions, went on the road and beat Purdue, and they've lost a lot of people. So I thought they would take a step back, but they go on the road. They beat a Big Ten team. So that's 2 Power 5 wins today for the Mountain West. We'll see if there was more. I don't think there was. Utah State went to Iowa, lost by 10. Texas A&M put the hammer to New Mexico, 52-10. Boise got drubbed by Washington. I think Washington's a good football team. Boise will be okay, I'm sure, but it's good to see them get smacked around. They're due for a bad season. One would just think, right? USC hammers Nevada 66-14. Of course, we have our Cowboys beating Texas Tech. And then right now, San Diego State is only up 8 in the fourth quarter at home against Idaho State. So there is a roundup of what has been going on in the Mountain West today. So we will stop sharing that. All right, let me go back to see if I have anything else I want to say. Otherwise, I just say, hey, very good team effort. The defense did what you expect them to do. The offense did not have their A game in terms of running the ball, but they were able to make it up with small adjustments in the passing game that made them just slightly more efficient, or maybe effective is the better word, because they really were efficient, but they were effective enough because they were targeting those shorter passes instead of the deep vertical passing game that we've seen in the past, where our passing game has basically been all or nothing. And I think that's what I've been asking for a long time, is just take the passes that they give you because they're there. Otherwise, yeah, I just have resilience. I wrote that down a lot. Resilience. A very resilient effort from Craig Bowl and his football team. And, hey, we take the win. We'll celebrate it. And we'll get ready next week to take on Portland State. Let me get some of the details on that one for everybody. And then I do believe that Brad and I will try to be on for a show sometime early next week. We'll wrap up some of the stuff that comes out of post-game interviews of this game, and then we'll look forward to the game against the Vikings. But before we go off air here for the night, just want to take a look at the start time for this game here. Yeah, so next week, another home game against Portland State of the Big Sky Conference. It will be a 2 p.m. Mountain Time start, and the game will be seen on the Mountain West Network. So again, it will be an online streaming game. So we'll see who they have on the call. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But yeah, so the Cowboys are 1-0, winning on national TV. Not only national TV, but network TV. And I tried to do the research. We talked about this, Brad and I, too. When was the last time Wyoming played on network television? And I was thinking, I tried to do some research. Maybe I could find a website that tracks this stuff. But I almost would have to think, unless there's a game that I don't remember. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Utah 2004 was what I was coming with, Jared. Jared got it. Yeah. I do believe that was ABC had that game. So it's been a long time. And I do believe that was the Alex Smith Utah State team. When I think both teams, I think Utah State was undefeated and we either had like 1 or 2 losses. Exactly. And then before that, I was going to go back to probably the that WAC championship game, maybe. Because again, getting on network TV is very difficult. So Wyoming in a season win on CBS. We'll see how many people watched it. The lightning delay probably didn't help, but pretty good stuff. Yes. And you say the lights went out. I do remember that. Yeah, the lights went out. It was a big mess. All right, what's going on here? I highlighted it. It does weird things. So, all right. Well, we've been going for a half an hour. It is late. I'm tired. You're tired. We got a lot of reading to do here. We'll see what's already out in the media, what we can gain from this. More to catch on in the morning. But I thank you all for participating. Glad you could find this post game. We will do these as often as we can. And then hopefully we won't have too many where I have to run solo, which I think will be better for everyone. And I appreciate you guys coming to the stream. Appreciate your support of WyoNation.com. And we'll gear up next week as Wyoming will take on Portland State, hoping to go 2-0 in the 2023 football season. So, until then, Chad Smith, thank you for everything. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you soon.